When you find out that 103 schools across the country had their lunch debt completely wiped out, amounting to $347,000, you might anticipate seeing media coverage, press releases, or trending hashtags on social media. Yet, none of that happened. There were no flashing cameras, no public selfies, and no polished feel-good videos. Just a straightforward message on a cafeteria receipt: your balance is cleared. Enjoy your meal. This simple note embodies the kindness of Kendrick Lamar and his wife, Whitney Alford, who chose to perform a quiet act of generosity instead of seeking public attention. By the way, welcome to Celebrity Hip Hop Showroom, where hip hop and celebrity drama never sleep, so hit that subscribe button so you never miss the mess. Let's get into it. In a culture where celebrity philanthropy is often evaluated by its visibility in the media, Kendrick and Whitney took a different route. For families in cities like Los Angeles, Detroit, New Orleans, and Chicago, this gesture was more than mere charity. It brought relief, restored dignity, and eliminated the shame linked to unpaid lunch debts. Many students were constantly reminded of their families' financial difficulties in the cafeteria, receiving cold cheese sandwiches instead of the hot meals their classmates enjoyed, or sometimes nothing at all. Each unpaid bill served as a silent reminder of their struggles. Recently, on a chilly Monday morning, school administrators were taken aback as emails poured in. A principal in Compton discovered that her district's entire lunch debt had been erased, while another in Detroit learned that her school of 700 students owed nothing. News spread through quiet phone calls: check your accounts too. There was no memo explaining the source of this generosity, just a simple note at the bottom of each cleared bill: you are seen. You are worthy. In some schools, the message read, this balance is cleared with love. Keep going. In others, it stated, no child should ever worry about lunch. Each message felt personal. Imagine being a cafeteria worker when you first see a cleared bill. You check the student's name, see the zero balance, and then read the note. Initially, you think it's a mistake. Then you look at the next bill and the next. Hundreds of names that once carried debt are now free. You feel a lump in your throat, knowing the stories behind those balances: the single parent struggling to make ends meet, the family living paycheck to paycheck, the household burdened by medical expenses. You realize that someone cared enough to relieve months of anxiety with a simple act. You wonder who could handle such a large sum of money without seeking recognition. When school officials traced the source of the funding, they found it originated from an anonymous foundation. However, those who know Kendrick Lamar's background, the boy from Compton who became a Pulitzer Prize-winning artist, recognized his distinct influence. His life and music have always shown a profound empathy shaped by his struggles. His earlier albums portrayed the tough realities of growing up in areas where basic needs are often unmet. Now, when he had the chance to help, he did so not for accolades or recognition, but because he understood that hunger is more than just an empty stomach. It affects learning, self-esteem, and childhood itself. Kendrick's decision to partner with Whitney on this initiative speaks volumes about their shared commitment to purpose and collaboration. Whitney Alford, often regarded as Lamar's steadfast supporter, shares his dedication to the community. Together, they made phone calls, coordinated with local food service providers, and ensured the funds were allocated properly. They chose to work quietly, avoiding the spotlight to keep the focus on the students and families in need. Their humility redefined the concept of celebrity philanthropy, showing that sometimes the most significant impact happens behind the scenes. By the time local news outlets reported on the story, it had already spread through word of mouth. Parents shared emotional moments at the dinner table when their child came home with a note from school saying, "Your lunch is covered." Teachers observed that students were asking to eat in the cafeteria for the first time instead of sharing cramped desks or going hungry. School counselors noted a decline in children seeking help for food insecurity, as the immediate issue had been addressed. For many, this meant they could focus on math problems instead of worrying about where their next meal would come from. Despite the flood of gratitude, thank you letters from PTA groups, handmade cards from first graders, and an impromptu assembly in New Orleans where the band performed "All Right" in their honor, Kendrick and Whitney opted to remain low-key. There were no Instagram stories, tweets, or speeches of thanks. They let the messages written on lunch receipts express their sentiment that every child deserves to enter the cafeteria and experience a sense of normalcy. Sometimes, dignity can be found in something as simple as a meal. Generosity doesn't need an audience. In an industry often marked by bravado and self-promotion, the Lamar family's choice was groundbreaking. It serves as a reminder that power can be exercised without fanfare or attention. True influence is measured by the lives touched, not by the number of likes. The foundations of Kendrick's artistry, his empathy, unwavering honesty, and commitment to community, extend far beyond the walls of studios and stages. As the school year continues, the impact of this initiative remains significant. Districts that were previously cautious with their finances now enjoy greater flexibility. Cafeteria operations are running more smoothly, and obstacles to education have been lessened. For the students who noticed those notes bearing their names, it served as a quiet reminder, you matter. If you've ever doubted the coexistence of hip-hop and humanity, Kendrick and Whitney have shown the way. True greatness isn't gauged by awards or sales, it's characterized by acts of kindness. By wiping out lunch debt for 103 schools, they illustrated that sometimes the most profound messages are delivered without words. On a different note, a distinct conversation is taking place in hip-hop right now. Last week, J. Cole shared with fans his belief that Drake was outperformed on the collaborative track First Person Shooter, not in a competitive sense, but regarding musicality, verse by verse. In a candid moment, Cole commended Drake for valuing the song over competition or public perception. Drake knows he got outperformed on First Person Shooter, Cole stated. He prioritized the song over rivalry or what others might think. I really respect that. It requires a great deal of humility. These comments sparked a flurry of discussion on social media and in group chats. Fans quickly began dissecting the track. Which verse had a greater impact? Who displayed the best wordplay, the sharpest punchlines, and the most memorable flow? First Person Shooter transcends being just another collaborative single. It showcases two of rap's biggest names sharing the same platform. Drake, recognized for his melodic style and catchy hooks, delivered his trademark blend of vulnerability and confidence. He wove together vivid stories of ambition, betrayal, and self-reflection, layering unforgettable choruses over atmospheric beats. His verse struck a balance that felt both familiar and fresh, reminding listeners of his ongoing dominance in the music charts. Then Kendrick Lamar entered the scene. Known for his sharp lyrics and energetic performances, he approached the beat with skill and fervor, maneuvering through it like a minefield. His verses struck hard, each one building on the last, leading to a powerful finale that left listeners in awe. For Kendrick, First Person Shooter was another opportunity for storytelling, this time through a collaborative effort rather than a solo endeavor. When J. Cole said that Drake got smoked, he wasn't just joking around, he was pointing out a deeper reality. In the competitive realm of hip-hop, artists often feel the need to outshine one another, crafting the most unforgettable lines and vying for recognition. Cole's acknowledgement of Drake's choice to prioritize the song over his own pride serves as a lesson in artistic humility. It suggests that true growth comes from collaboration, recognizing when another artist excels, and celebrating that talent rather than shying away from it. Now, we turn to you, the rap fans. Who do you think delivered the best verse on First Person Shooter? Was it Drake, with his effortless blend of melody and rhythm that drew you in from the beginning? Or was it Kendrick, whose intensity and precision reminded you why he's considered one of the greatest lyricists of our time? Your preference may hinge on what you value in lyricism. If you appreciate clever wordplay and metaphors, you might favor Kendrick. On the other hand, if you're attracted to emotional depth and catchy beats, you might lean towards Drake. Or perhaps you admire how both artists seamlessly blend their distinct styles into a cohesive track. There's no clear answer, just the conversations that emerge from it. And that dialogue is essential to hip-hop culture. The debates, disagreements, and passionate discussions that keep the art form alive. From quiet acts of kindness, like alleviating lunch debt in Compton, to the competitive nature of First Person Shooter, hip-hop continues to reveal its many facets. It's a genre of contrasts, public gestures and private actions, rivalry and collaboration, humility and confidence. Ultimately, the common thread among these stories is a commitment to a cause greater than individual interests. Kendrick Lamar and Whitney Alford chose to support their communities quietly, while J. Cole highlighted an artist's selfless contributions. Perhaps the lesson here is that true greatness is defined not only by personal achievements but also by how you share your talents and acknowledge the talents of others. So, we want to hear from you. Who delivered the standout verse on First-Person Shooter? And how will you let your actions express your message, whether through quiet deeds or vocal expression? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this situation, so please share your opinions in the comments. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated on this story.